In the latest attempt to shit all over press freedom, the U.S.'s appeal to extradite Julian Assange to the United States has been granted. Julian Assange, who has never set foot on American soil, published damaging emails sent by top Democrats, as well as damaging leaks about Republicans and Democrats that exposed U.S. war crimes. The Biden administration, not content with the torture Assange has undergone in confinement at the Ecuadorian embassy or in Belmarsh Prison's solitary confinement, is following in the Trump administration's footsteps to bring Assange to the U.S. to torture him here. To be fair, the U.S. government has a special knack for torture. The CIA planned assassination attempts on Assange while he was captive in the Ecuadorian embassy, but they crossed their heart and promised the court that Assange would be super cozy and safe in U.S. prison. Civil rights groups have long called on the release of Assange due to physical and mental health conditions. Assange's conditions had been reviewed by the UN Rapporteur on Torture and concluded that Assange showed signs of torture. Assange's partner, Stella Morris, recently confirmed Assange suffered a stroke on the first day of his High Court appeal on October 27th. Mainstream corporate-funded media, who almost never mentions Assange's torture and rarely covers the U.S. government crimes in an adversarial way, is actually covering Assange's extradition. Perhaps as a form of celebration, or perhaps they realize that the few adversarial journalists left will be next if Assange's extradition goes forward. Trigger warning, the next story is slightly less bleak than the previous stories. In slightly less bad news, Steven Donziger, the human rights lawyer that successfully sued Chevron for the environmental and human health atrocities they committed in the Amazon, has been released from prison to serve the rest of his sentence from home. But Donziger had been detained under house arrest for over 2 years before even being sentenced, and was then found guilty of contempt of court for not breaking attorney-client privilege. Even after house arrest for over 2 years, he was given the maximum sentence by the judge. All of this is unheard of for such a case, and far beyond any previous ruling. Needless to say, Judge Lewis A. Kaplan is a former corporate lawyer who held investments in Chevron. Donziger has called this a, quote, corporate prosecution, end quote, just in case, for some reason, you still thought that the U.S. had a real justice system after the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict.